SMT Nation, we back. Nation, I want to discuss this topic with you all here today. It revolves around this idea of cost cutting, and companies across the country are looking for ways to reduce OPEX, reduce CAPEX, just overall company spend. It's basically become the primary focus of every company. And there's initiatives that they have to do. There are projects, there are network upgrades. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all of them have things they have to accomplish, and they have to see them all the way through. It's part of their business model. It's part of their business plan. But at the same time, they're trying to cut billions of dollars of spend. And this article covers it. And there's some other stuff I'll be alluding to, but I'll be sure to link this article. It will be the placeholder for today. It'll be in the description. All right, also in the description, the real SMT Buy Me Coffee link. Want to support your creators, show your appreciation for all the content here on the channel, the live streams, the podcasts, the speed testing videos, the reviews of services, the commentary vids, the news. Let us know, support us. There's other ways to support us as well there in the description. And if you're looking for a really good deal on wireless service, check out our partner, Mint Mobile. Use our partner link, mintmobile.com/sneed. It's in the description. Unlock tons of savings. Their legendary customer care, you really can't do better than it. It is elite within the industry. So check out Mint Mobile, partner link down in the description. All right, so let's start first with, who kind of was the indication that things were starting to slow down with respect to tower upgrades and what's going on with network modernizations. Crown Castle just reported their earnings, I think, within the last week or so. And they indicated that they were going to be doing a complete restructuring of their company. And I think they laid off over 700 employees. And obviously, sad news. We hate to see people lose their jobs. And hopefully those folks can bounce back and find a good position with another good company. Crown Castle, from what I understand, is a good company. But it's gotten to the point where I'm guessing they know what's coming. They know what they've been seeing. But indications are it's like, They lost like 50% capacity of projects that they were supposed to do, whether it was in respect to, gear and installations or tower builds or leases, whatever. There clearly is, layoffs across the industry that are then impacting Crown Castle. And, Crown Castle as one of the biggest tower companies across the country, Crown Castle, SBC, American Tower, just to name some. Verizon, for its part, they're upgrading their network at a blistering pace, but they've already accomplished like 50 or 60% of the work that they needed done, right? So they're going to they're in their last stretch leg of C-band, right? They've already completed most of the major markets, and they're going to finish kind of the overlay, and then they're going to move on to small cells, which gives Crown Castle some action there. But the macros, for the most part, a large portion of them are done. The rest of the move is going to be in rural America, and Crown Castle will be sharing that with companies like SBC, Vertical Bridge now, American Tower. So there's the Verizon piece who, again, they're cost cutting as well. They like to own and operate their own as much as possible. They're a good partner for Crown, but that's a thing. Now, when we look at T-Mobile, they're kind of in a situation where, a large portion of the network is already modernized. And there's just not much left to do with respect to N41 upgrades. There might be some new builds in rural America here and there, in places where they're doing retail and they've got to get the network built out first. So some of that is there. They're just, from a national perspective, T-Mobile doesn't really do small cells. Their top 10 or 20 markets get to see some of that action, which I'm sure puts Crown Castle in the catbird seat there, but it's not nationwide. And when we look at something like, the rest of their spectrum assets for T-Mobile, C-band and DoD, they're not going to be building out those layers of their network very fast. My expectation is that where they have C-band, which is a limited number of markets, they'll be doing that within the next 2 or 3 years. And when I think about the DoD that they have, same situation. It's going to be over the course of the next 2 or 3 years in areas where they are congested, in areas where they want to be strategic and selective about where they put those upgrades. So again, something that's indicative of the monetizing of the network before you start upgrading at a large scale. And lastly, to mention AT&T, they are in the extreme cost-cutting mode, right? They're looking to save $6 billion. Verizon was trying to save $2 to $3 billion, and those types of things. But AT&T, we've already seen and heard, indications of them letting permits expire, terminating contracts for new tower builds and upgrades. They're really cognizant of this, right? Having to deliver free cash flow, working on their debt load. They are really, I think, what's going to be really impacting companies like Crown Castle by really peeling back and buckling down on spending. So there are some places, from what we understand, that aren't going to see a DoD upgrade, for a couple of years. Towers got to get congested. There's got to be network related issues in order to see those upgrades. And the same goes for the C-band, densification process. There are going to be some parts of the country that are going to get slower than normal upgrades. So places that have it, that's great, that's awesome. Places that don't have it, you're going to see your upgrades, but it's going to be on a more, casual time fashion for AT&T. So it's not like what Verizon and T-Mobile did, guns a-blazing, right? Monetizing the mobile network access plus fixed wireless access. So the capacity has to be on air no matter what. AT&T they're just not doing it that way, right? They're not doing fixed wireless. Internet Air is going to be in select markets, in select situations, mostly for business solutions, less for consumers, more in situations for like the copper catch where DSL customers are losing access, to that infrastructure, or it's failing or unreliable, and they don't want to lose those customers. It's going to be strategic and surgical, as John Stankey, the CEO, says. So I think what we're seeing here is we've seen layoffs at T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T. We've seen layoffs now at Crown Castle. How does this impact American Tower, anything at SBC? I don't know. But clearly, the layoffs that we're seeing for vendors, for tower companies, that do the leases and the tower builds, it's impacted there because of what the carriers are doing. These are huge mobile network operators with huge, massive networks, and their cost cutting is going to directly impact these companies. Really what's left, I think, for them for upside is going to be small cell densification. Specifically, I think of Verizon with that. I think also a little bit with AT&T in their bigger markets, and same thing with T-Mobile in their bigger markets. We'll see how this plays out, but these are key indications that we need to monitor here on the channel. What say you? Comment down below. Hit me with your favorite hashtag. Hashtag Verizon, hashtag AT&T, hashtag T-Mobile, hashtag Crown Castle if you want. Love to hear what you guys have to say on this. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.